Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Saturday, December 31st, 2022. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin this New Year's Eve edition with last night's WWE Smackdown live on Fox from the Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. The episode featured the return of Charlotte Flair, who recaptured the SmackDown Women's Championship from Ronda Rousey, as well as the return to action of John Cena after nearly a year-and-a-half absence.
Thank you so much for allowing me to do this for 20 years. I love you and it means the world to me. Let's go to work.
Cena teamed with Kevin Owens in the main event to defeat Sami Zayn and WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns when Owens pinned Zayn. This was Cena's first match since the dark match main event of the September 10th, 2021 SmackDown, and his first match on TV since his loss to Roman Reigns at SummerSlam 2021. Charlotte Flair made a surprise appearance earlier in the show to challenge Rousey, who had just successfully defended her title against Raquel Rodriguez and then beat Rousey in just 40 seconds. The win marks Flair's 14th World Championship, a record for women's wrestling. This was her first match back since losing the title to Rousey last May at WrestleMania Backlash.
No, I'm just honored to be back and pay back to Ronda. I don't know if she thought that I was just going to let the last match, the I Quit match, go. When I went home, I thought to myself, I'm a lot of things to a lot of different people, but the one thing I'm not is I'm not a quitter. So I just waited for the right opportunity, the right time, and 14 time.
Also on the show, a masked figure who appeared to be Uncle Howdy interrupted an in-ring interview segment between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight and laid Wyatt out with Sister Abigail. Earlier in the evening, Solo Sikoa defeated Sheamus, who was saved from a post-match beating from the Bloodline by Drew McIntyre. McIntyre has been off TV and out of action with an injury since late November. During another in-ring segment, Braun Strowman issued a challenge to Intercontinental Champion Gunther of Imperium, then was saved by Ricochet from an attack by all three Imperium members. Gunther appeared to suffer an inadvertent laceration to the head due to a chair shot from Ricochet at the end of the segment. With your AEW Rampage report, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Last evening, AEW presented the New Year's Smash edition of Rampage on TNT, featuring matches taped Wednesday night at the First Bank Center in Broomfield, Colorado. Orange Cassidy defeated his best friend's stablemate Trent Beretta in the opening match to retain the All-Atlantic Championship, with Penelope Ford distracting Beretta, allowing Cassidy to land his Beach Break and Orange Punch finisher combination.
He's going for it again, guys.
Here it is! Oh, there's the Orange Punch! Did you see how Beretta's head jacked around? And Orange Cassidy retained!
This match, and still the AEW All-Atlantic Champion, freshly squeezed, Orange Cassidy!
Jade Cargill extended her record to 46-0 with a win over former Baddies member Kiera Hogan. The match concluded with Red Velvet, another member of the Baddies entourage, leaving Cargill and fellow baddie Layla Gray in the ring. In the main event, Swerve Strickland pinned Wheeler Yuta.
Maybe got an inadvertent elbow. Oh, no, the low blow! And now Swerve! JML driver! Not like this. 2, 3.
Winner of this match, Swerve Strickland.
For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
In Lucha Libre news, last night CMLL ran their final weekly Friday night card at their home base of Arena, Mexico. In the main event, Angel de Oro and Niebla Roja held off the challenge of Titan and Volador Jr. to make their 7th successful defense of the CMLL World Tag Team Championship. Turning to Japan, the shoot-style promotion GLATE ran their year-ending show yesterday at Tokyo Dome City Hall. In the main event, El Lindemann defeated Kaito Ishida with a Tiger Suplex to make the 7th defense of the company's championship. The other title match on the show saw Hayato Tamura and Czech Shimatani make the 2nd defense of the G Infinity Tag Team title, winning a 3-way over Issei Onitsuka, and Shigehiro Irie and Flamita and Yutani when Tamura pinned Anetsuka. New Japan Pro Wrestling's Sanada and Bushi also made a special appearance on the show, knocking off T-Hawk and Kaz Hayashi after Sanada pinned Hayashi. And in some unfortunate news, Don West, iconic TV shopping pitchman and for years the voice of TNA Wrestling, passed away yesterday of lymphoma of the brain, according to an announcement made by his former broadcast partner Mike Tenay. West worked alongside Tenay as the lead commentator for TNA from 2002 to 2009, making his debut at TNA's very first pay-per-view. After leaving the broadcast booth, he spent his time behind the scenes at TNA, working in merchandise development and sales. He briefly returned to the company in 2017, calling the action one last time at Slammiversary 15 that year. Jeff Jarrett first hired West at the suggestion of Vince Russo, who had tried to bring him in during the final months of WCW and who had taken notice of West during his years as the host of Sports Collectibles on the Shop at Home network. West rose to fame on the network during the 1990s with his trademark booming voice and insistent delivery, which he used to sell sports memorabilia and other collectibles during a tenure in which Shop at Home network sales rose to $150 million. West was even parodied on Saturday Night Live, where he was played several times by Will Ferrell. West first announced his diagnosis with brain lymphoma in June of 2021. He leaves behind his wife Terry of 30 years. He was 59 years old. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.